What does this mean for Trevor Zegras?
Well, I saw your article right away. It's funny, Frank, because the minute the trade came down, I was like, for Beek, I wouldn't be shocked at all. And I'd said it on my show earlier because when Anaheim played Edmonton, Oilers fans were like, what's up with Trevor Zegras? Like he was banged up for sure, but if you look at his season and holding out guys is never great. That we can show so many players that it doesn't work out for.
It's not a holdout if you don't have a contract, by the way.
Fair enough, but the negotiate. But 7 points in 20 games, Frank. Like 7,
1 goal in 12 to start.
Yeah, like it's
then an injury.
Yeah, so it's not. I look at Zegras and I could see how some people wonder if there's more flash than substance. Not saying it's a fair assessment, but that's, you hear that now and again, right? Like he's got all the Michigan moves and he's a wizard with the puck. But does that equate to a lot of offense? Although he's coming off 2 60-point seasons, which is pretty darn good. So that's what my argument is. I'm like, hey, what more substance do you want from a young player?
It's not that there's not substance there. I think the concern from people that watch him closely is that he's more one-dimensional. I think that's a more fair way to put it. He's obviously a really talented kid. I don't think anyone's ever questioned his work ethic or anything like that. I don't know if maturity is a question mark. Probably not. I think here's the best way to explain what I understand is the situation with Trevor Zegras. I'm not sure, and I think a lot of people that know him better would say that they don't believe that the way Pat Verbeek envisions the Anaheim Ducks playing and their style, that Zegras meshes with that. And look at some of the other pieces that he's put together here.
Yeah.
Leo Carlson. You've got, that's a 200-foot complete player with size that's got all the ability in the world. Like, that's going to be an unreal pick. Cutter Gauthier, add to the mix. Mason McTavish has some jam. Like, go through the pieces that they have up front, and the thought process is Pat Verbeek isn't a believer in Trevor Zegras and meshing with that style. Then you add in the contract and how that negotiation played out and how frosty it was, because not just Trevor Zegras, but Pat Verbeek had grinded Jamie Drysdale to a stump too. I think there was definitely some lingering discord there that after working his ass off all of last season to come back from injury, that the Ducks, and he was apparently ready to play, that the Ducks didn't let Jamie Drysdale get to 10 games played in an accrued season last year. That part hurt. He finished the year with 8. Then he gets to this negotiation, and it's not pretty. He basically gets the lowest kind of bridge deal you can get. And Zegras, after back-to-back 60-point seasons, he gets ground to a stump. And part of it is that's just Pat Verbeek's nature. He is like a grinder by nature. So that part everyone understands. But what does it mean for the long term? Well, the reason he's on my trade board is not just because of the circumstantial part of those two things. It's because sources say that in conversation with teams in the last number of months, Pat Verbeek has basically asked the question, well, what about Trevor Zegras? And has brought his name up. Now, I don't know how you want to classify that. Probably not shopping, more along the lines of exploring. But here's the bottom line. Trevor Zegras is available. And so that's the easiest and cleanest way to explain it. And I'm not projecting or predicting that he gets moved by this deadline. I don't even know that that makes much sense. But I think the key is that he's a really big name to watch moving forward, because however you or me or anyone else views Trevor Zegras, one-dimensional or not, he still has and does things that so few people on the planet can. And someone somewhere in this league is thinking that they can harness that.
Yeah, I'll say that if you're the Ducks and you trade Trevor Zegras, if it's just for a package of draft picks, you've just gone backwards. That's all I'll say. Like, if you're going to trade Trevor Zegras, you better get some NHL player in return. I think getting a package of draft picks and even a young prospect just puts you younger and further away, and just all it does is extend your rebuild longer in my eyes. He's a proven NHL player, like two-time 60-point player. That's a legit NHL player that's hard to find. There's not a lot of those guys in the NHL. So, you know what? If he was on an expiring contract 1 year from UFA, Frank, a little bit different. But you know, he's under contract. He's and even when his contract's up, he's still an RFA. Like you get him for his lots of really good years. So if you're going to trade him, I would think you got to deal him to get a bona fide and like, you know, a proven NHL player. Now maybe he's not the NHL player isn't his skill, and they're getting a prospect or high picks with it. Okay, but you got to get an NHL player. I think just getting draft picks. Like I have seen so many teams in rebuilds, Frank, and they do it every year at the deadline, and I'm always kind of surprised that they give away good veteran, proven NHL players for second and third round picks who have like a 15 to 18% chance of playing. And then the team the next year is like, geez, we really need some more players. I'm like, well, you just had one. You gave it away for a pick that might help you. Like it's always laughable to me. I find it repeats itself all the time.